John Calvin on Psalm 63 verses 1 and 2. O God, thou art my God, early will I seek thee. My soul thirsteth for thee, my flesh longeth for thee in a dry and thirsty land, where no water is, to see thy power and thy glory, so as I have seen thee in the sanctuary. O God, you are my God, earnestly I seek you. It is apparent that David never allowed himself to be so far overcome by his trials as to cease lifting up his prayer to heaven and even resting with a firm and constant faith upon the divine promises. Apt as we are, when assaulted by the very slightest trials, to lose the comfort of any knowledge of God we may previously have possessed, it is necessary that we should notice this and learn, by his example, to struggle to maintain our confidence under the worst troubles that can befall us. He does more than simply pray. He sets the Lord before him as God, that he may throw all his cares unhesitatingly upon him, deserted as he was of man, and a poor outcast in the waste and howling wilderness. His faith, shown in this persuasion of the favor and help of God, had the effect of exciting him to constant and vehement prayer for the grace which he expected. I have seen you in the sanctuary and beheld your power and your glory. It is apparent that God was always in the psalmist's thoughts, though wandering in the wilderness under such circumstances of destitution. Even when so situated in a wild and hideous solitude, where the very horrors of the place were enough to have distracted his meditations, he exercised himself in beholding the power and glory of God, just as if he had been in the sanctuary. It is noticeable of ignorant and superstitious persons that they seem full of zeal and fervor so long as they come in contact with the ceremonies of religion, while their seriousness evaporates immediately upon these being withdrawn. David, on the contrary, when these were removed, continued to retain them in his recollection and rise through their assistance to fervent aspirations after God. We may learn by this, when deprived at any time of the outward means of grace, to direct the eye of our faith to God in the worst circumstances, and not to forget him whenever the symbols of holy things are taken out of our sight. Or suppose that the Lord's Supper and other means of advancing our spiritual welfare were taken from us by an exercise of tyrannical power. It does not follow that our minds should ever cease to be occupied with the contemplation of God.